Hi out there in Nettie land. Welcome to Moments with Nettie. It's Chairside Musings Day. Well, I didn't plan it that way. I woke up thinking I was going to do something really fun and funky. I had a couple of product tests to do and a couple of recipes to do, and I had the energy to do something a little more exciting than just a chairside musing. Well, as I woke this morning, I had a few inspirations and a few thoughts nagging at me. Now, I don't think I'm alone in the world right now. Those of us waking up in the morning wondering if we should turn on the news at all. We don't know. We're in a place where silence is golden, but information is platinum. So anyway, I was thinking I was just going to do some art projects personally, and I was wondering what I was going to do, about getting in and doing some chores that I have to be done. And, I'd rather be doing Moments with Nettie than vacuuming. And I'd rather be painting or doing my glass work than anything. And then I remembered that one of my art projects that I'm in the middle of is going to require some paint to dry before I can get back. And then I started thinking, well, that's perfect, because while the paint is drying, I can be doing some of those chores I don't want to do. And while the paint is drying, I can do my video blog. And so that got me thinking about just that whole concept of while the paint is drying. Because we go through life saying things like, well, that was like watching paint dry. How many people just do that? Well, usually we don't, but it's usually usually means that whatever we're doing is pretty boring and takes a long time and is a waste of time. Well, I'm thinking a little bit different on that today. I'm wondering, what if we look at watching the paint dry as more waiting for the paint to dry? That we figure out what we can do to get some of those chores we don't want to do out of the way while the paint is drying. It reminds me of a time when I just hated to take out the dishes from the dishwasher. And it just takes so much time. Oh, not like I washed and dried them by hand. Boy, I'm so spoiled. But you get into that. You get so used to the good life that you forget that there's harder ways of doing things. And so one day I put on a Hallmark movie. Well, I grow the hairs on my chin back by the time those commercial breaks are over with. They take forever, it seems like. So I decided to put on a Hallmark movie and sit and watch it, enjoy it. But when the commercial came on, I had to get a task done. Well, I was having company, so there was more than just unloading the dishwasher. There was some meal prep. There was vacuuming. That was one of them. So I chose to do the dishwasher first. It was the most logical place to start. And so movie starts, commercial comes, and guess what? I got up, I unloaded the dishwasher before they were all done. So I started to do the same thing at night, except not watching a Hallmark movie. I just remember watching the evening news, and maybe I hadn't gotten the dishes done yet from dinner. Now, granted, it's only Fred and I, so it's not a lot of dishes, but, there's countertops and all that. And especially after we've had company, sometimes I don't want to do all my dishes right at once because I'm tired. So, news came on, commercial comes on, and guess what? I got up and the dishes were loaded. The dishes were loaded before the commercial break ended. So I did some other tidying. And one more commercial break and the kitchen was done. I'm not kidding you. Nettie's that fast. And I'm thinking, well, why don't we apply this today when I get to paint in the studio, make that first priority? Because I've come to the conclusion that I remember playtime being put off until we got our chores done, especially on Saturday morning or after school. If I hadn't done my dusting, I was supposed to do that first, or we do our homework before you can play. Well, blessed be the parents who realize a little playtime after school energizes the kid to get their homework done, easier. It's like they need the playtime. Well, so do we as adults. We need the downtime. And to me, today is a little more complicated because the downtime right now, just the time to sit and think, is not necessarily healthy because with the Ukraine issue going on, we have too much time to think because we don't know what to do. I'm going to encourage you to listen to my podcast from Sunday called Abide With Me. There is a time. There is a time and place to be praying and to be calling all angels and to be one with the world in creating safe places for human beings. But we're also in a place where we individually don't have action items. And, so we can light the candle, we can pray, we can have conversations with people. So much is speculation right now that we don't have anything terribly concrete to do. So if you have a lot of downtime, like if you have a lot of paint drying and you have just time to think, that can be a little intimidating for some of us. Our minds take over. My mind works double time during times of crisis. And definitely wanting to get the message out to comfort other people. But we have to be comforted ourselves. And so we have to find a way, a technique. Maybe you'd call it that. A technique to cope during the uncertain times. Well, art is it for me. But also I know I don't do art very well if my house is a mess, or if it needs dusting, or I need to be putting a few items away, or the dishes done, whatever. Some of you aren't that way, and I'd love to take lessons from you, but I'm that way. And it sort of freezes me in place. And it does not free my mind up to do the creating that I can do if I'm doing it in a serene place. If I'm thinking of all these chores I have to do, I just kind of, why start painting? Well, I'm doing little projects where the paint will dry within 20 to 30 minutes. That 20 or 30 minutes it's just bonus time. It's bonus time. Make a phone call to someone you love that you haven't talked to for a long time. I'm going to call my auntie really soon and do things that are just kind of irritating you. It's just, why haven't I just moved that chair from that corner to that corner? Every time I sit down, I'm sitting there thinking, that chair looks awful there. Why don't I move it over there? Well, that's just an example. I don't have a chair over there, but I've done that. So, allowing yourself to do something while the paint dries instead of wondering, instead of allowing you to get into a place of boredom or being frozen in place, like you paint something, what are you going to do next? Well, you have to wash your hands, you wear gloves. You just prepare for those moments. It's a part of a task list. And some people have this down pat. I love them. They need to give me lessons. But I'm learning the lessons, and as I learn them, I'll pass them on. But also, I would encourage you to take the space to be in a place where you're contemplating the world events. Not necessarily preparing for what you can do, but for where you are in your heart right now. Is there some tidying up you need to do in your heart? Can you take that time while the paint is drying? Can you take that time while the dishes are washing before you unload the dishwasher? Can you just simply take the time for yourself to be with your heart, to listen to the pain, listen to the questions, knowing you may not have the answers, but give yourself a break. be in a place like today. Nettie dressed up for this moment because it's important that while the paint dries, we're being productive in ways that feed us. And today it just might be, how can you be in the world while the paint dries? Well, I'm here, and I tell you, lighting that candle, really listen to the podcast, Sermon Nettie's, abide with me. Learn how to abide in a world that offers so many questions and is a place of fear right now. In order to be in a place of love, you have to confront the fear and to remember that love conquers all fear. And even if we can't pull that up within ourselves, we look to our higher power, I to my God, to provide a place of love and comfort so that I can be working from that place of love, so that I can not start from the fear, not start from the rumors, not start from the negative news, but start with concrete feeling of no matter what happens, I'll go out and love. That's kind of a double whatchamajigger and time drug, whatever they call that. Because if I were to die today, I want to die in love. If I'm called to go out and help all those who need help, I need to be doing it from a place of love. So we are first responders in love, and we remain that way when we bask in the light of love and send out that love to others. I send it to you today from a place of love. Always remember, Nettie loves you. Bye-bye. Paint's dry! Hi, this is Debbie Flory. Thank you for supporting Nettie. And thank you for understanding that Nettie is a way for me to reach out and help others understand their spirit. And spirit comes in all forms: humor, laughter, discernment, contemplation, concern, and a willingness to be in a place of light. Thank you for being the lights of my life and for being first responders in love and knowing that I, Debbie Flory, am with you. Please call or email if there's anything you could talk about. I am a spiritual director in the world, and I minister to all those who just want to live a life of love. Thanks. Bye. Don't forget to show me a little love by subscribing, giving me a thumbs up, and sharing with your friends on YouTube and Facebook.